Hi everyone. So today this video I will show you how we can filter multiple key value using API mocker. So let's start how to do this one. So before starting this one, let me explain you the requirement analysis what we are going to achieve here. So let me go through requirement analysis here. So this is one like sample success scenario. One of the request so this kind of request how we can filter each field, not only like single field we will filter and we will pass the response. So what we need to do here, just example here status is accepted, settlement completed. We will filter this value first. Second, like we will go through this local instrument or debitor account. It have some subfield is there, right? Like some secondary identification number, schema name, identification name, and also end-to-end identification value, instrumentation like identification value, creditor account. These are some soft fields are there, like how we will filter all the parameter value, then only we will send this response instead of single checking like payment id and we will print that one. So the previous video like this you already watched, like this build a corporate payment API, right? So what we did earlier, like we are passing one simple payment id and if I send request, so we are getting one response. So we are passing only payment id. So in this video you will learn how we can filter like the all the means key field and the same key value. After validating all the value and key only we will get response. So let's start how to do this one. So let me go through next step. So here this is one sample like I prepared how we can filter all the parameter using API mocker. Just for example, I'm using your endpoint here. So depends on you, like you want to use this endpoint or different endpoint, that depends on you. And the method I'm using your post method. And example like add here, there is one switch condition is there where I'm checking the payment id. So if you go through the request, right? So this request, this consent id and payment id is coming under data only. So same like what we did here, we added dollar after the data and payment id. So same for consent id, same for status. So one more thing you can see here, there is one debitor secondary id is there, so which is under like debitor account. So you can see your data, then initialization. So if you go through here, so now you can see secondary identification number is available here. We need to enter to data first, then we need to enter to initiation first, then we need to go to debitor account, then only we will enter to this secondary identification number. So depends on our json structure, we will prepare the switch condition like this way, and that we will assign to debitor secondary id. So depends on your situation, you want to use this key or different key. So this key value, this is one key, so this key what value you want to pass, so that value parameter reference we need to add it here. So same for like other parameter I added here. So at the last if you see here, right? So there is two condition I added here, one for responses and one for switch condition. So this response, if our condition is not means succeed, what we need to do, we'll call one default value, that is default failure JSON file I added here. So depends on you, you want to give this file name or different file name. Within this file, like we'll add some content and we will pass that one if our condition is succeed. So below if you can see, right, there is one switch response I added here. So this switch response I added some field and value. So for payment id, you can see here, payment id, and that payment id value is this one. So this value I am taking from where? So this value is the value of this one. If data under payment id this one is matching, or data under consent id this value is matching, data under debitor account secondary identification this value is matching, all type of filter condition, or in this video we will show you how we can filter each parameter key and each parameter value. We will filter that one, we will check this is success or not. If it is success, we will pass the response. So let's start how to do this one. So those who are regularly watching my video, they already have regularly I'm uploading WS related videos and APM Mocker videos. So at the last, like we will integrate all in the single WS2 sequence file and we will integrate one by one. So kindly go through my previous video. So it have step by step process of each technical topics. So for corporate, those who want to watch like APM Mocker details, they can start from here. Corporate API banking explained. So it have like step by step process are there. So you will not miss anything. So let's go through configuration file. So as you already know, like those who are regularly watching, we have one conf.json file is there. So this conf.json file, we have like multiple endpoints, one for token key, same for details endpoint, one for accounts and account ID value filter, and one more is there like slash payments. So these all are like some endpoint which I already developed and already explained in the previous videos. Those who want to know like how what are like functionality I developed and how this code is working and all, kindly go through these videos like this corporate API mocker and dynamic account ID filter, build a corporate payment API. So here you will learn like each step by step process, like how we can use a static data as a request and static data as a response, that we can cover it here. So let's complete this video part. So what I need to do here, let me copy this one. So I will upload in the Git, like you can go through that one and means use this one as a real-time scenario, how it is working as a real-time activity. So let me copy this one. So this is my config.json file. Okay, let me scroll down. So this is one payment, so it's ending here, right? So what I need to do here, let me give one comma. So here I need to add that value. Okay, so this is my like one example like I added here. So this JSON will do what, whenever I'm hitting this endpoint, it will go to this config.json file, and this config.json file, it will call this endpoint and it will check is field value is matching with our request or not. If it is matching, where it is checking, that is one switch response is here, right? This switch response I added all. Well, for payment ID, this is the payment ID value, and for consent ID, this is the consent ID value. These all are like combined one. So if all the value is matching with our request, then we will get, it will call one file. So there is one API get payment status success file, and we will get the response. So let's start like how to achieve this one as a real time scenario and show you like how it is working. So you will get some idea like okay, so this is the way like we can integrate in our code, and we can show to the customer like okay, this is the sample demo. So the same we will use in our production environment. Just remember, like production it's a dynamic, but in mocker scenario it's a static data. Okay, so now what we need to do, let me copy this file to create like this file to verify our like actual like failure scenario and success scenario is working or not. So let me so you can see here, right? So it's storing in mocks folder only, so we will create the files in mocks folder only. So let me copy this one. So this is the mocks folder. Let me right click this one, new. So here like I will create that particular file. Let me open this one. Let me save as. So let me modify this save to all type. Let me save here, right? So here I'm adding the extension JSON. Let me save this file. So like in default of failure, what I need to add here. So let me go through my requirement analysis. So here, let me go through here. So here I added one failure scenario. If our filter criteria condition is not working, we'll print this response. So let me copy this one. It's a static response. Okay, like it's not dynamic, like we will see which field value is correct or not. It's a static response. So let me add it here. So this is like our failure scenario. Will print this value. Let me close this one. So now what we need to do, we need to create one file for success scenario, right? So let me copy this file. This is also one file we need to create, right? So let me copy this one. So this folder, same as like let me open this file through save as. So here let me modify to all files. Let me give one file here. Let me give the extension also, so it will consider as it's a JSON file. Save this one. So here let me do what thing. So this file I need to add the success response. So when our filter condition is succeed, we'll print this response. So let me add it here and save this one. So now our file is ready and configuration is ready. Let's quickly test and verify our source code is working or not, and our configuration of mocker also working fine or not. So let me close this one. So now what we need to do, we need to restart our like mocker to make sure like the new changes is reflected or not. So let me go through terminal, terminate this one. Now let me execute again node.js, node.server.js. So after executing this one, you can see right Mocha server running with the port 9437. So let's verify like Mocha is working or not. We can go through browser. So let me add it here. Okay. So now you can see it's showing what cannot get. So our Mocha has been started. So this is our base endpoint. Let me copy this one. So let me create one new file. So new endpoint. So let me go through the here, like let's see like what is the endpoint we want to invoke there. So we want to use your payment portals. Okay. So let me copy this one. Let me add it here. So now like this is our like one of the endpoint like which you want to expose, and I'll show you like how we can filter each parameter. So now nothing I did, I just if I send request, it is showing what cannot get this one and for 404. So that means like our endpoint validation is working fine because we are using post method, right? So now let me go through change modify this one to post, send request. Now nothing I add in the request payload. If I send request, it's keep on running, right? So what we need to do, let me cancel this one. So in raw data, let me modify this one to JSON. So here let me add the particular request to verify our our like validation is working or not. So let me copy this one. Let me go through postman here. So this is the request like which I want to fire. Let me beautify this one. So if I send request, right, and in the below it is showing what payment not found. So why it is not found, I'll tell you what is the means problem in Mocker. So it is doing what, so this is the value. Okay, this is one of the value. So if you compare with the request body, so this value hyphen 25, it's ending with 25 and starting with 5899. So if you go through the response, so hyphen 25, right? So you can see here hyphen 25 here and starting with 5. It's API mocker is doing what? It's excluding that particular field name, payment ID and consent ID, and passing like this way. This is the one of the value, and then it's concatenating with this value. So what the easiest approach? Let me tell you how we can validate like this way. So here let me copy this value. Okay, this is the same value which is the request which I am passing. The problem is API mocker is like excluding the field name. So let me copy this one. After that, what I need to do, let me go to the config.json file. So here let me replace with the value which I'm getting to the log. Okay, so let me replace with this one and save this file. Then what we need to do, again we need to restart. So must be the new changes must be reflected in the new code, right? So this one again I did restart. What I need to do, if I go through postman again and send request again, right, now you can see I'm getting the actual response from the backend and it's working fine. So the problem is while you are using API mocker, make sure like your payment ID, consent ID, these are all things like value it's matching with as per the request. And the best approach like what you need to do, like if you want to quickly want to test that one, copy the value like in the response we are getting one value, right? This value we can configure in our config.json file and we can pass our request. This is the approach like what you want to follow. So this is one positive scenario. Now let me if I remove this one and send request, so we are getting on default response. Okay, so this is not validating the each field value is correct or not, and it will not give you, since it's validating each field value, but it will not give you like which field value throwing error. This is not that kind of validation is not there in the mocker. This is one sample way like if you want to demonstrate to the customer like what is the actual flow like we want to build in production, and this is the sample thing. So we can showcase this one like okay, this is the type of request we want to pass, and this is the type of response we want to show you to the callback to your endpoint. So now you see, right, so how we can achieve the negative scenario as a real-time activity, and this is the way like APM core is working. So those who are watching this video, kindly go through my channel. So beyond doubt, thank you so much. Like those who are watching my video, kindly like and subscribe my channel. So it will motivate me to make more videos. Thank you so much.